With that, it gives me great pleasure to turn the podium over to Chad Holliday, Chairman of the National Academy of Engineering and former President and CEO of DuPont, where he was known for his commitment to sustainability and corporate responsibility. Chad is dedicated to the mission of the Academy. He chaired the recent congressionally requested National Research Council study, Research Universities and the Future of America, which highlights deficiencies in our research university base. He has taken on these results out to the public to rally support because our future depends on our research competitiveness. He is a remarkable champion for engineering and a determined and very diplomatic leader. Chad, the floor is yours.
Dan, thanks very much and good morning. Now, based on all my good DuPont safety training, I have to point out the 2 exits on this side of the room, the 3 exits in the back, and if we should have to evacuate, we'll meet on the front lawn. So now my official duty is over, and my fun part begins. I get to congratulate our new members on your outstanding accomplishment. Please join me. As you walk across this stage in a few minutes and then queue up getting prepared, you'll be thinking about things. One of the things you'll be thinking about are the family, friends, and colleagues that have made a big difference in you being here today. I urge you to really reflect on that, and before the day's out, even though they're sitting around you, please thank them one more time for everything they've done to support your work. Now, I just have one simple message for you as we focus on our second half century. I would urge you to do exactly what all of our members have done in the first half century, and that's solve problems. Solve problems in service to the nation. And you may ask, what problems should I solve? Solve the problems that you care about. Solve the problems that are important to your community, no matter how you form your community. As I was thinking about these notes and gathering them for today, I recalled a time when my family was living in Japan. I was going in for my annual physical examination with Dr. Fuji, and I hadn't done enough exercise that he'd suggested the year before. And so my tactic was I was going to get him in an intellectual conversation about should I jog, should I bike, should I swim. I go through all this, and Dr. Fuji looks back at me, and he says, just move. So I said, his English is not as good as I thought. So I go through the whole thing again, and he stares back at me, says, I understood you the first time, just move a lot. So my message to you today is just solve problems a lot as you go forward. But if you want a little more specific guidance about where to solve problems, I would point you to the grand challenges of engineering. In 2008, our Academy developed 14 grand challenges. And if Chuck Vest, our past president, could be with us here today, he would point you to the 14 grand challenges. Even though we've made tremendous progress in this period of time, there all still remain challenges and an opportunity. In looking at those grand challenges, I find 3 that clearly talk about sustainability of the world and how we make sure that when we celebrate the 100th anniversary in this room 50 years from now, there'll be enough materials and quality of life to take it on for the centuries to come. So I would urge you to consider those grand challenges that relate to that. And I've got a short report for you that I hope you will find some guidance for that. I had the honor of serving on a global commission that was formed by 7 countries. We finished our work 2 weeks ago and made a report looking at this question that you always see in the paper. And I bet you could find it this morning. Are we going to create a better economy and more jobs, or are we going to be sustainable? And it's always presented as one or the other. You can't possibly do both. Well, our commission was charged, does it have to be that way? Are there a set of answers that really do improve the economy and really do help sustainability? As you might guess, the answer was yes. Then the question comes, but does it cost more? Is it less if you do it in a sustainable way? Is it the same or is it more? If you project out the next 15 years, if we keep doing business the way we've been doing it, it's going to cost $89 trillion to build out the infrastructure the world needs. If we do it in a sustainable way, it's going to cost $93 trillion to build it out, 5% more. I think that's a very good investment. But I've got to tell you about one premise in the $93 trillion. It's assume we as engineers do our job. It's assume we do the sustainability the right way and take into account all of our capability. So to make that a success, you have to be a part of it. Let me direct you to 3 things from the report very quickly that I think you might find useful. Fossil fuels. If we looked at fossil fuels, we said, what part of fossil fuels are high risk? What part are high opportunity? Coal is high risk. I would avoid it. Natural gas, good opportunity. I would maximize it. And if you add in carbon capture and storage, which can lower the impact on the environment of natural gas, take one of the 24 plants that are currently under design, I think you got a real winner. Second, how do we pay for it? Now, since 2009, I've been working part-time on one of the large banks. And we've been criticized for almost everything since 2009 during a financial crisis. And I'm sure many of you have been in the chorus doing that. But we've been criticized of having these very complex financial instruments that have got the country in trouble. We've been criticized of taking too much risk, losing our money and sometimes the money of people sitting in this room. And all that's very well justified. But let me tell you, when it comes to finding creativity around sustainability, we've been lax. We've been too conservative. But that has changed. If you go back 5 years ago, there was something called a green bond, which is a sustainability bond that a company would offer. There were $3 billion worth issued in the world. This year, there'll be $40 billion issued in the world. The message to you is the financial services institutions are finally getting something right, and we're going to have the funds you need as you solve the problem. So don't sit there and worry, say, we'll never find the funds if I work on sustainability. It will be there. Last point. Many of you have probably heard of shale. Have you heard of shale gas? Is that, I'm in the right room. It's good. Many people ask the question, why 10 years ago did we not see shale gas coming? Because the major predictors did not see it coming. Well, that's because they weren't looking close enough at the engineers that were doing horizontal drilling and hydraulic techniques that made shale gas possible. If you'd been looking at that, you could have seen it coming. And many people in the business community really wring their hands about how they missed that question. I think that's important, but not the most important question. The most important question is, what's the next shale gas? What's the other thing coming that's going to change our energy future? And I was sitting with Maxine Savage, just retired as vice president of the NAE, and she came up with a very quick answer. Energy efficiency will be the next shale gas. And if you stop and think about it, that it's a 2-to-1 value for energy efficiency versus any other kind of energy you could have, it's a big opportunity. So you heard it here. And if you want one more problem to solve, look at energy efficiency as you go forward. In summary, my guidance to you is solve problems and solve a lot of problems. Thank you very much.